All right, let me just share my screen here and we're going to get moving. I am so excited. Are you excited about this one, Patricia?
Yes, I am.
Yeah, I am too. This is a new,
This is
a
new
new,
for us.
yeah,
We haven't, what we do in our courses is we like looking at a diamond. We have these little, this side and this side and this side and this side. These, what are those called? Those diamond.
diamond.
And this is the first time
Facets.
we have centered on this understanding of, we hear so much as coaches, I don't want to open Pandora's box, but I don't want to open the box. We're going to talk about that today as just a side of all this recovery. It takes so many different things. It's not just about only sticking to a food plan, because things come up that we now have to deal with as they come up. And so that's what we specialize in, how to handle things as they come up.
Opening Pandora's box, finding freedom through vulnerability, discovering the hope that remains. It's a fascinating story that we'll go into in just a minute. But first, Patricia, could you introduce yourself? There are some people on here that may not know you or may not have understood the depth.
See some new faces here. I have been a life coach really since the early 90s, but I got my certification in the very early 2000s as a certified life coach specializing in empowerment. And I've been on this food journey, and I've been able to keep my lines for the last 10 years, bringing in new things that I had never really taken into before when I was on a diet in the past. And I also coach for Everett Considine's IFS programs. I'm very practical and have a very deep understanding of 12-step. And so, yeah, that's about, I'm really into this journey is not about the food. This journey of food is the symptom, and it's the spotlight that, uh-oh, something's coming here, something's here. And that's what we need to then look at. So I'm very into causes, not, I'm into solutions for the causes of what drives us to our addictions. That's it.
Thank you, Tricia. You and I have been working together for many years now. We've pulled together many courses and we've also walked this same journey for many years. I released 170 pounds. It took me 2 years. I never thought I could lose the weight. I did it for reasons other than my physical beauty. I did it because I needed to heal my type 2 diabetes and high cholesterol. I've always felt that I could never lose the weight, and I certainly never thought I could maintain it. But in this process, I got so much of a gift around the fact that the science underneath all of this really released me from this abject pain that I had around feeling like this was always my fault. I was doing something wrong. Oh my gosh, I'm an accomplished, I was an accomplished corporate executive, but I could not manage my food. I couldn't understand that. I could do everything else under the sun. I could manage to figure out a microwave link from Aberdeen to the other side of the Puget Sound, but I could not figure out how to lose the weight until I did. And in that process, I've been constantly bombarded with new things. There's not a whole lot of actual science around food dysfunction as far as our brain is concerned. It's becoming more emergent. But the major work that I've been able to connect the disparate dots with is the neuroscience around addiction in particular, specifically other types of addiction. The psychology, the medicine, all of the complicated relationships involved. Our food dysfunction is directly linked to our emotional and our behavioral and our psychological need to soothe ourselves and comfort ourselves. It's a coping mechanism. It is a tool. We have always thought of it as the problem, but it is a tool. So when we can look deeper, we have that capacity. Between Patricia and I, we've determined noticing, resonance, which we'll talk about a little bit here, trusted community, and practice are the things that are going to help you move and shift the needle. What's the definition of insanity? Doing the same thing over and over again and expecting the same result. We need to practice and shift. And first, before we do that, every single time you can pause for a moment. This is something really important. This is actually a healing moment for you. If you want to think about it this way, I want you to stop all your thinking and consider where you are in this moment.
So we are one big pot of vegetable soup, and all vegetables are welcome. So we would like you to check your body right now, go into your body, and come up with a word that you're feeling now. What am I feeling in this moment? No wrong answers. Just put it in the chat. Sonia's energized, of course. She's always energized and overwhelmed. Curiosa. What's your body saying to yourself? Ask it. What's a frustrated? Thank you, Irene. A flustered. Okay. Overwhelmed. Happy. Is that a heavingness? A heavingness?
A heaviness, maybe?
Heaviness. Okay. Calm.
Love it.
Another.
And I want you to hear that no answer is wrong. This is where we get, oh, I don't want other people to, I don't want to move people down. Teresa says hurt and disappointed. I'm pretty confident that you're not hurt and disappointed because of something we've said already. But it doesn't matter. The fact is that's how you are right now. Think about accepting where we are.
Where are you in this moment?
Yep.
You are where you are. I'm sorry, Sonia. We're too excited. We're too excited about this. Yeah, we are where we are, and we don't check our bodies enough. What is my body? If I had a word or two to say, what would my body be saying?
While you're thinking about that, let's do a little bit of a quick welcome here. What if the parts of ourselves we keep in shadow aren't weaknesses, but the very places where our freedom is waiting?
Yeah, think about that. What if the parts of ourselves we keep in shadow aren't weaknesses, but the very places where our freedom is awaiting for us? And the questions we're afraid to ask ourselves might hold the answers we've been searching for.
Fear is a big deal. Fear keeps us from doing things. But sometimes the path forward isn't found in new answers or seeking new things or seeking a new medicine, but in finally hearing the whispers we've been silencing. Food silences things, it numbs it, it soothes us, it comforts us. When we talk about Pandora's box, one of the interesting things, I didn't know that much about the myth. I just heard it over and over again in my lifetime. Don't open Pandora's box. Pandora's box is loaded. Or Pandora, I didn't know this either. She was the first human. This is a Greek mythology story about the first human who was gifted with all things from all the different gods. She was gifted with beauty and curiosity and strength and fortitude and all of these things. She was given this box. And as she opened the box out of pure curiosity, all this bad stuff flies out. And the part of the story that I didn't know was that hope remained inside. Now, the interpretation I always heard was that Pandora had unleashed pain and suffering into the world, that she's the reason we have pain and suffering. But what if we got the tale wrong? What if our interpretation was twisted by culture and expectation? What if we are the ones living inside the box, surrounded by our shame about food and body and so many other things? If we expose it, the world will know the truth about us. I can feel your heart rate expanding. I want everybody to take a deep breath because we are going to get to some really interesting things that might just explode your little brain a little bit. And I don't mean that in a condescending way. And what if opening the box isn't the mistake, but the healing process? Patricia and I have been, I don't know if you want to call it breaking the rules for the diet industry for a very long time. And we've been opening up the process. And for me, this is a perfect example of the kinds of work that Patricia and I do. Our journey together today. Let's get real about the exhausting thoughts that keep us trapped in loops.
The rackets. We have these rackets that we say the same complaint over and over and over again. We're in this loop. And we think it's real. We think it's the truth. But they're just conversations in our heads that we get trapped in.
Discover how your brain processes the truth. This is what we're going to talk about today. How does our brain process these things and how we've been believing the ideas and the stories that are coming out in our own voice? And what to do about it now. Right now, in this moment, everything is fundamentally well. Right now, in this moment, you're sitting in your chair and everything is fundamentally well. Okay, it's possible that the dog might be barking or something, but find the little moments of peace that are already possible and learn how to nurture hope, especially in the hard days. That's what we're going to talk about today.
We dwell on what's wrong. Learning to shift into possibilities is a practice that takes a lot of practice and tenacity to continue and then slowly evolve into another way of seeing things.
Living inside the box. The wait, what? Moment. I love saying that. Plot twist. We're not trying to keep Pandora's box closed. We're living inside of it. That feeling when you think you're the only one obsessing about what you ate, that's the box. The voice that narrates every bite, that's living in the box. The belief that everyone else has this figured out, classic box thinking.
Everyone but me, they're all figuring it out, but I'm not. Anyone have that? Anyone ever have that cross their minds?
Does any of this make sense to you? Put a yes in the chat thread, please, or something. I hate that phrase, frankly, because I hear it so often on masterclasses, but I would really love it if you could let us know if this makes sense for you. There's that chatter that's going on that's endless, and we're watching ourselves do it, especially after we've had some space of clarity and space and peace. I like to call that the abstinence space. When you've been on a diet or clean for a time, I know you know what I'm talking about. When you're clean from things, there's a quiet that comes out around. And when it comes back again, it's exhausting. It's exhausting. I know you understand this. Okay, I wish this was Jonah, Tommy's little 3 or 4-year-old now, but this is the sweet little mess that is our heads, if you can imagine it. It could be playful. We could think of it as playful, but often we think of it as, oh my gosh, is that indelible ink? Is that going to come out of the carpet? The box we all know too well. Your Instagram feed, your 3 a.m. thoughts. The Instagram feed or the Facebook feed everyone looks great. Everyone's wonderful. Everyone's having this great time versus your 3 a.m. thoughts. The pressure to have it all together while falling apart inside. The imposter syndrome, the concept that, oh my gosh, if anyone only knew what was really happening in this head. The wellness culture that actually reinforces feelings of unworthiness. My biggest issue was the morning and evening routine checklists. That drove me nuts. I could never get it right. I'm sure there's something that you're really frustrated about that you couldn't get right, that you knew was good for you. Meditation. You knew it's good for you to take a walk every day. You know it's good for you. All of these things that we're taught. And that awkward moment when you're both living your life and watching yourself live it. You know what it's like to watch yourself walk to the pantry, not be able to stop yourself.
Hijacked.
Yep. Does this make sense to you? You don't have to put a yes in the chat thread. You can say, what living in the box costs us, the exhaustion of having an audience in your head at all times. It does feel like that to me sometimes, even still. I've got to
Critical self-talk, critical self-talk. I have nobody else to blame but myself. How I've been working on this for so long. How come I can't get this? How come other people get it and I don't get it? When we don't even knowing we're being critical, we think we're shaping ourselves up. That's not the truth. You can't be critical about yourself and not be wanting to shut yourself up. And what's our go-to for shutting ourselves up? Getting numb, stopping thinking.
I'm telling you, I know this sounds bizarre, but I'm so grateful. That is my go to. That's my fix. I didn't choose heroin or cigarettes or alcohol. You may have also had those in your lives as well. But most of us have been able to figure out ways to release those things. It's the food that keeps haunting us and keeps coming back. The brain fog after hours of critical self talk, when your heart races before social situations, your body on judgment, when you get anxious before you're walking into an event, when you're looking at, oh my God, I know I'm going to make an exception. I know I'm going to make an exception. When you freak out, when you do, the energy it takes to maintain different faces in different situations. How do I fit into this group? How do I fit in here on this call? Stop it. You're exactly where you're supposed to be right now in this moment. And that's what we're talking about here is accepting and allowing and embracing where you are right now.
What if nothing's wrong, Teresa? What if I am here for some great learning? Ha! How can that be? Look what they're doing.
Yeah.
And we're going to have these moments. We're going to have these moments in our lives where this horrible stuff seems to be going on. And we're now tasked with the opportunity to re-look at it and look at it in a way that's different than the way we've been looking at it, that's driven us to our addiction.
And I just want to say, Teresa, I just want to honor where you are right now and know if anyone's reading the chat thread, Teresa's mom had a stroke and you're having to deal with some really complicated relationships. That is a minefield on crack, if I can use that terminology. That is challenging and hard. And it is what it is. And there are going to be ways that you're going to get through this because you're strong enough. And I hope that this space of time gives you some respite from all the crazy, because I totally get that. I lost both my mom and my dad over the last two years. I totally get it. Why we keep the box sealed. I want you to just think about the ways that you stuff things down. And I'm not talking about your dinner. I'm talking about events that happen to you or circumstances that arrange for you, situations that come up for you. I want you to hear that is something that we stuff down into parts of ourselves. That's why we say we're in the box, because we don't take these things out and put them in our closet. They're within us. And we keep the lid closed even to ourselves because looking feels scarier than not looking. We don't know. It's unknown. We've never dealt with these things before. Maybe you've never been dealt with anger before. Maybe you've never felt this grief before. Maybe you've never had this situation come up before and you don't know how to handle it. But what if it confirms our worst fears about ourselves? That's another worry that we have. Go ahead, Patricia.
It seems like it's coming from the outside. And having our vision shift takes a lot of practice. So we're not just talking here about, oh, this is what you need to do. This is all you need to do. But be in community that understands that this is our work. So when something comes up for me, and that's why sticking to a food plan is great, and our world is going to turn upside down from time to time. And so how do I deal with it when I'm in the midst of it? That's our work. Because we can't just, once I get on a food plan and once I stay on it, that's it. I'm never going to get off, and I'll have no more worries or no more problems. And then here comes the outside world. Here comes the world closing in. How do I handle it? How do I build my inner strength? How do I understand what's happening for me from the point of view of what's possible for me to do? Unless we move in that direction, we're still at the, we're at the, everybody's, we're at everybody else's whims. We have to learn to come from our own inner strength.
There's so many complications around this concept. There are so many potentials. Yeah, but what about this? And what about this? And this is going to Teresa's situation is going to overwhelm her right now. It is. That does not
Right.
mean that she can't figure out a way through it. And there may be some dissociation required. You may need to relax for a minute and step back, and we're going to talk about that.
Yeah, say some nice breaths here, all of us. Nice, deep cleansing breaths that we are safe in this moment. We are actually safe.
Taking some deep breaths in quickly and exhaling out slowly, like through a straw.
And if we're afraid that if we open this box, it'll get worse. So here we're entering the tunnel of this explosive situation. Maybe it doesn't have to be. Maybe I can look at it in a way. I don't know what it is, but maybe I can look at it in a way that doesn't bring so much stress into myself. It's our work. It's our work, damn it. Damn
This is
it.
all, yes, and this is all protection. These are, using IFS language, these are protective parts. But the problem is that protection, we all know it, that indulger part who says, we're fine now. Let's just continue with where we are and we'll start something on Monday. Let's not look at these thoughts right now. Let's just avoid these feelings. I want to eat them. I want to eat over them. I want to just shove them down into this spot.
And what Teresa did was the perfect thing to do. She talked about it. She released it here. She released the thing that was overtaking her brain. I'm assuming it was taking up a lot of space, certainly. And being able to talk about it in a community that nobody's going to say, you shouldn't feel that way, and this is what you need to do, but rather just to be heard that I'm going through this thing. And I just want to thank you for talking about something that's really uncomfortable for you, because that's part of the process for sure.
I don't want to think about this becomes all you think about. Think about, I want you to, this is the polar bear opportunity. I want you to not think about polar bears. And the first thing that comes up is an image of a polar bear. That's what happens when we say, I don't eat sugar and flour, for instance. We automatically amplify what we don't do, and it is loud and screaming all the time. If there's nothing else you take away from this, stop saying that. Say instead, I eat healthy and nutritious and delicious foods. And your brain is going to look for those because it's there to protect you. We've just got the wrong gears in place when it comes to dieting in particular. But when we're talking about healing the underlying reasons, we go to food. Realize that there are a ton of biological, physiological reasons. If your brain perceives scarcity or rigidity, it fixates. That's just smart survival. Just like what I just said. Why willpower is like trying to hold a beach ball underwater. Think about that. It's easy initially, but the longer you hold it, the harder it is. And eventually your strength wanes. Willpower is finite. It does dissipate. It does die, if you will, in those moments. And it needs replenishment. And replenishment comes from gratitude and meditation and sleep and trusted connection and resonance.
And being heard, and yes, the resonance, as you say, and practice, and not feeling alone because you're together, working together. Look at all of us here. We're working on this thing. We have our own versions of the exact same thing. We're here together. You're not alone in this moment.
I don't like living in conspiracy theories, but I know you understand the billion-dollar industry that profits from our self-doubt, especially as it relates to image. We're supposed to look a certain way. We're supposed to dress a certain way. We're supposed to never age. We're supposed to always smile. We're supposed to always be happy. It's exhausting. And how so much self-improvement actually reinforces self-rejection.
Right.
Many say, oh, I wish.
Yeah, they say, oh, you're not happy? This will make you happy. This product that we're selling is going to make you happy. That's why you're not happy. You don't have enough of this product in your life. It's conditioning our brains.
Well, and the other thing I just want to mention here is there is a lot of discussion around the weight loss drugs. There are a lot of people that are taking them. Many of my clients take them. They're helping them calm and soothe themselves. I'm not suggesting, I'm not advocating one way or the other. All I know is this: it does help calm and quiet the actual food cravings, but it does not change the emotional and the habitual reasons we go to food. It doesn't change that. And that's what we work on here.
That's our work. And all the different angles of that work.
Is this making sense? If you're understanding where we are at this point, if this is resonating for you, I'd love for you to let us know. Yes, this is making sense. Yes, you're on the page. Yes, you recognize that this is all in here. Okay, wonderful. Thank you. I got 2 yeses so far. Okay. Baby steps to self-recognition. Not a dramatic revelation, but a quiet, oh, hello there. And yes, I wish I had been in theater. I love using my voice in this way. Noticing without fixing, harder than it sounds. This is one of the main things that we work on in our courses. And yes, we're talking about a course. If you watch the first masterclass, we are giving you an idea and an understanding of what the Art of Recovery Spring 2025 edition is all about. But noticing without fixing. This was one of the hardest things for me. I'm a doer. I'm a project manager in my heart and in my soul and in my profession. I'm a doer. So it was really challenging for me to just notice and just sit there in the noticing. But the noticing actually does something within your brain. It stops the trigger that's happening. It stops the amygdala from taking over, and it opens back up your prefrontal cortex, which is required for you to do some analysis, a body scan. Am I really hungry? Why am I really looking at this? What's going on? So when you're noticing without fixing, you're actually doing something very tangible. It just doesn't feel that way because it doesn't have like a checkbox. Okay, I did that. But it is so important to look at it from, wow, that's really interesting. You're getting curious instead of judging yourself. Wow, that's really interesting. And when you see the thought without becoming the thought, think about that.
Watching it, looking at it. Oh, look what I just thought. Oh, look what just went through my mind. Wow, look what I just said to myself. Stepping back and seeing that.
Our brains are here to keep us alive. First and foremost, before it does anything else, it is going to keep us alive. So any situation that comes up that needs analysis, it's going to do in a heartbeat, and it's going to come up with a story, a beginning, a middle, and an end. But that does not need to be true. And more than likely, it's wrong. If nothing else, because there's more than one aspect to the story. When you zero in on that initial reaction, Patricia calls it your first voice. That initial reaction is the one we hold up and say, yep, that is absolutely true. Whatever it is, I'm not good enough. I'm not strong enough. I'm never going to make this work. I can never maintain. I will never be able to let go of this. Whatever it is, those thoughts are holding you.
So if I can say, I'll never get this right, if I could go, oh, look what I just said to myself. Is that true? It feels like it's true because I have a past to show that. But others are saying this has worked for them. Let me give it a try. Let me try it looking at it this way because I never quite looked at it this way before because I didn't want to. I was afraid I was going to open it up to all the misery and horror. Just look at what's coming up.
I need you to just for a minute go on the gallery view. And there aren't very many people on screen right now, but I would love it if you could come on screen for just a minute. And I would like for you to raise your hand or nod if this makes sense to you and if this feels like you're part of this, if this makes sense and if you are it, if this is coming up for you. Yes.
Ellie.
I get goosebumps thinking about how much this impacts people and they feel so alone. Alarmed aloneness is a term that Sarah Payton coined that has meant everything to me in so many ways. The isolation that happens with food dysfunction. We are shame-filled, we're grief-stricken, we're disgusted, we're guilty. All of those things that identify, we are identifying with those words instead of feeling like that's something that I'm feeling. It doesn't have to be true, and it's not all consuming. So I need you to hear that this is something that we are all experiencing in one form or another. Not a single one of us has the same experience.
And it's a life journey. It's our life's journey. We want to get somewhere. We want to get somewhere. It's our life's journey. I see, Kelly, you went off. I don't know where you are, but I
She's
love.
camping.
She what?
She's camping.
Oh, okay. I
I'm
love
here.
your statement. I'd just like you to just say a little something about it has changed your life. In what way? What were you thinking about, and how has this work that you've been doing with us, how has that shifted you?
Oh my gosh. It would take a whole nother masterclass to talk about all of it. But just taking away the shame and realizing I'm not the only one. Sonia touched on having a trusted community to just be able to come and talk, whether it's food related or other things that eventually would lead me down the path to eat food to relieve the shame, the spiral, the whatever's going on in my head, being able to come to the magic group or to a small group class that I'm in and talk about it and release it and get some feedback if I want, or just get other people to say, oh my gosh, I know what that feels, is so releasing and caught me off guard because I
I just
was
have
doing
to
some
say,
dishes and
not
stuff.
only,
But
yes, you got caught off guard. And Kelly, you have done a 180 because
yeah,
you
it's
got asked to get on screen on this call and you did it without question. I don't sense any kind of anxiety other than you'd like to say everything and it's not all coming up for you because there's so much. You have done so much work and you've listened, you paid attention, and you've grown exponentially. I can't even, I'm over the moon proud of you.
Yeah.
the fact
Kelly, you
that
couldn't have done this before.
I couldn't
That
have even
is,
talked on
it's
here. And
amazing. Yeah.
just
Just
had
real quick.
major surgery 2 weeks ago. Walked in the hospital, had the surgery with no anxiety medication, no nothing. I enjoyed all the people around me. I never, and I know this isn't an anxiety group, but it all goes together and the food, all of it. It just, I can't say enough. It's amazing how it all affects the
And
entire.
being in a group with a Kelly is so encouraging because we watch and right, how many of us have watched people ourselves and others and go, oh my God, they didn't used to be able to do that and now they can do that. So that it's so encouraging to be with people who are.
Last thing I'll say is being in the group and watching other people grow and change and realizing that the fears that I had that would happen if I opened up and talked about things. I watched them do it and watched them not die from it or no bad consequences, helped me immensely see them go through it and survive and realize that, okay, maybe I can try and do it because they made it through. So it was huge.
Sonia and myself.
Right. Yes. Including watching you two talk about your things that you're struggling and going through and everyday things. Yeah. So thank you guys.
Yeah.
Thank you, Kelly. It's enjoy your camping experience, and thanks for getting on in this in spite of it. Say hi to Phil and Gracie.
I will. Thank you.
Sure. And maybe Dylan. All right.
We'll be here soon.
Did you want to say something, Donna? Thank you so much, Kelly. Did you want to say anything? You don't have to. No. Okay.
All right. I just need
I can. I can talk all day about Sonia and Patricia. Sonia and I met so long ago, and she's been instrumental. And getting to know Patricia has been good, but really and truly, the space to stop and notice two things. Three. I got to go with three. Resonance. And in the rest of my life, the people around me that I get no resonance, sometimes I get really irritated now. So the resonance been huge. The space to stop and notice. And then what if nothing's wrong? It's just been huge. Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Who's flesh?
Thank you, Donna. And
Wow.
you, my dear, I've known you for probably, we were in the first Gideon Games group together, right?
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah.
2016,
Gosh.
17, something like that.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
Allowing ourselves to be where we are. This is where I am. This is where I am. Oh, I'm really angry, or I'm really jealous, or I'm really envious, or I'm really sad. That's where we are in the moment.
That's right.
And have a place where it's safe. Somebody's going to say, that is really great of you to be able to be so open in that way. Not trying to, oh, don't you feel this way? You shouldn't feel this way. But that's the person who's responding's problem, not your problem. That they're uncomfortable. They want you to not be uncomfortable. We get
That's-
uncomfortable sometimes, a lot of times.
When we can name the shame for what it is, it actually makes it smaller. Just like what we were talking about these things, saying them out loud, even if you don't say them to anyone else, saying them out loud or writing them down. We all know the power of writing. I'm an extremely creative writer, but I really struggle with writing down some of these things. It really helps me to just say them out loud. I just want you to hear that allowing them allowing yourself to speak these things out loud really dissipates. And finding the story beneath the story, what these patterns were trying to do for you, the patterns of how our brains think, the patterns of the stories we tell ourselves, the patterns of the complexity of our relationships with others, and how we can shift that. Breaking the spell of secrecy. And yes, I do love this frog. Noticing the voice that says, I am not enough, without believing it. Just think about it like a cloud passing in the sky. Oh, isn't that interesting? Seeing how the patterns clearly help when we loosen their grip.
Look what I just said to myself. I just said I'm not enough? What are you talking? Okay, just cleanse, take a few breaths. You don't have to believe that. That's just a conversation I'm having in my head.
So what happens in your nervous system when you offer yourself a break? Do you know what happens when you just take a break for just a minute? Even if it's literally just a deep breath in quickly and an exhale slowly. You've amplified your heart rate variability. Inhaling quickly raises your heart rate. Exhaling slowly lowers your heart rate. When you have a wide range of heartbeats, your brain automatically assumes everything is fundamentally well. What if nothing's wrong? That's what your brain is hearing. When you intentionally, you have capacity to stop the chaos just by what I call straw breathing. Inhale quickly, exhale slowly. It's the same thing that happens when I was just doing it this morning and I was like, oh, I love straw breathing. When you sing sustained notes, you have to take a quick inhale and exhale slowly. Now, you may not be a singer. You may not want to do this in public. You may not want to even do it in private, but singing actually calms you. The surprising research on how self-compassion helps change happen. We all know, we've all heard of mindful self-compassion. We've all done the webinars and we've all seen this stuff. What we're doing here is connecting the dots to how this will help you release the noise of the food. Turn down. It's not going to stop you from thinking about food. I just want you to hear that releasing the idea that you're going to be fixed at some point, let it go. That in itself is going to calm you. Let that go. But I do know you can turn the noise down substantially to where it's more like an annoying gnat in the kitchen. You've got tools.
And when you can notice what you're saying to yourself, it's like you're stepping back into your true self center, capital self. You're noticing it and you're stepping back and go, oh, okay, wait a minute. I'm just going to take some breaths here. I don't have to believe it. Maybe I need a rest. You're now coming from your center.
It was a real surprise for me to hear the full story of Pandora's box as it was originally told, as well as the current interpretation. I don't believe a woman is responsible for releasing pain and suffering into the world. I think we're supposed to have pain and suffering. It's part of living vibrantly. It's part of the reason, and we'll be talking about this next week, about the potential growth when we are feeling this horrible things that happened to me. Teresa didn't control her mother having a stroke. I didn't control my mother getting dementia. I didn't control my dad and his drinking. And none of that was my fault. And yet I had to deal with it. So I had to dig deep and develop muscles that I hadn't practiced any of that before. I hadn't practiced any of these things before. None of us do in these big life events. But hope isn't a grand fireworks show. It is the thing that is in the box that is left in that story. I didn't know that hope was left in the box. So think about the phraseology of that. That means hope is left within us and we get to choose. I like to think of this as releasing the other things so that I don't have to hold them myself. But that hope is not fireworks. It's a small, stubborn flame. And it does create literal healing in your body. Maybe you've got some hope right now about the potential that might happen for you. Maybe you heard from Donna and Kelly and Patricia and I and thought, wow, is it possible that I could get off the weight loss roller coaster? I'm not suggesting that your food plan isn't important or that you shouldn't have one.
Oh.
I honestly don't care what your food plan is. This is about understanding the reasons you go to any substance. I don't honestly consider food a substance. I'm sorry, ultra processed garbage a substance. It's not food. It's a substance that nurtures our soul. It does not feed our bodies. So I think of it as not food. It's not my food. It's not food. And we all know that. We can't even spell the ingredients. That's not food. But there is a purpose behind it. And what we're talking about here, what our whole underlying work is finding other ways to soothe and nurture ourselves, finding other coping mechanisms to replace that food. So we're turning down the noise, we're changing the habits, we're shifting them. That is not something that happens in a 30-day quick or with a gummy bear.
What if we came in to learn these things? So all these hardships that happen, and they will, and they do, what if we came to work this through? I'm not saying that's the truth, but it's a way of looking at it that really serves me rather than me feeling this is happening to me and I'm a victim of it. Maybe there's something for me to learn and grow. I don't know what it is. I don't have the answer yet. We don't like not being in control and having answers. That's where I am right now. I'm not understanding why I'm having to face this. And I am having to face this. So what's my what's the best way I could do this? And what if I'm here to learn this rather than be oppressed by it?
The idea that finding the even so moments, this is hard, and even so, there's a strength associated with overcoming something challenging. When hope feels impossible, and what it really is, the voice that says this will never change. We all have it. We all looked at that. When past attempts feel like evidence against possibility. We all have so much evidence of how much we've screwed up, how many times we failed. My default mode network has a list. It's as long as, I don't know, a sequoia tree. What are those, the tallest tree? Redwood. It's as tall as a redwood tree of all the things I've screwed up on. But what is it? Who's the inventor who said you have 1,000 fails and all you need is one win? That's all you need to start realizing, wait a minute, what if this might work? But not everything will be perfect, but something else is possible. Not never struggling, but the struggle isn't the whole story. We find inspiration in other models and other things. Just thinking about Kelly and Donna and Patricia and I. She found another way, maybe I can too. That's the power of trusted community and trusted connection. And when you can notice the evidence of hope, can you see it? I mean, look at this picture. It is gorgeous. That is the image captured in a moment of one drop of water landing in an ocean. That's all you need for hope. I love this phrase, how curiosity creates cracks in the certainty that things won't change.
And what if I get curious about this thing that's in front of me rather than feeling victimized by it? It creates a crack that the light gets in, like that Leonard Cohen song.
You want me to start singing? No. Nurturing hope and self-recognition, the garden of inner trust and curiosity. Hope grows not from forcing change, but from tending your inner soil. The transformative power of, I wonder why. I wonder why I said that, or I wonder why I felt that, or I wonder why I thought that, or I wonder why I did that. Oh, that's interesting. Think about the difference in that kind of curiosity versus the knee-jerk reaction that we have to go to shame or disgust. That's a big one. Guilt. Learning to notice the yes that resonates in your body when something feels right. Trusting your gut. We're told not to trust our brains because they're infected with this food dysfunction, this sugar and flour crap. But what if we can start to trust ourselves? How inner trust develops through honoring how far you've come, honoring the things you've overcome, honoring the fact that you're still here, honoring the fact that you're here right now in this moment. And yes, I am a little obsessed with these green frogs. The inner critic as compost for growth. Our harshest self-criticism contains the nutrients for our deepest growth. The art of acknowledging the critic without being ruled by it. Come on.
Just
What?
notice it as it comes. Just, oh my God. And that takes a practice to learn how to notice. So you're stepping, it's out there on its own. You're stepping back from it. You're connected.
Transforming you're not good enough into part of me is afraid I'm not enough. To I'm willing to open the box a crack and look inside. Think about that.
Sorry.
Think,
Just gonna say, you don't have to fling the box open. You just have to put a pinhole in the black box and let some light get in.
Just remember, we're actually in the box. We've just gotten comfortable with all the surrounding pain and anguish and disgust and shame and guilt. We've gotten comfortable with it. We're just not used to considering another option because it feels scary. This is something that I think is really important to recognize, the strength of self-witnessing. When we can do this, that's why trusted connection and trusted community is so helpful. humans are not supposed to do things by themselves. We are not solitary individuals. I don't know. I think there are animals out there that are by themselves, and they're self-sufficient. We need somebody that can help us build a house. We need somebody that can tend to the garden. We need someone else that can help with medical needs. We need community. We need connection. We need to feel like we belong. And when we can witness ourselves with compassion, that changes our neural pathways. Patricia and I picked this picture because there's a red staircase driving you down deeper and deeper, and that feels very scary, or it could. But each moment of noticing strengthens the muscle of present awareness. The healing that happens in safe community where no fixing is required. Are you in any places where you feel like you don't have to fit in or say a certain thing or behave a certain way? If you're feeling that way, it's possible that you're not getting resonance or you're not giving it to yourself. Release the idea, because I guarantee you every single one of us screws up regularly. That's human. But for some reason, our society has told us we're supposed to edge toward or be perfect.
Or we think something's going to land in us and we're never going to have another problem. Once I get my food in order, I won't have any more problems, because that's the biggest problem in my life. So if I get my food in order forever and ever, no matter what's going on, I won't have any more problems. And the shock that it doesn't work that way. That's not how it works. But maybe there's a design in that's helpful and
Just the concept of landing the plane. Oh my gosh. That means something to many of us. For me, that meant I'd be done. Oh my gosh, I'm going to be done. I'm just going to add enough food in and everything will be fine. That's how I handle maintenance. But I spent 2 years focused specifically and rigidly on a plan so that I finally found something. I was abjectly fearful of gaining my weight back. I was terrified of slipping. I know you feel this sometimes. I know this comes up for you. It did change for me though. And I know it's going to change for you if it hasn't already. It moves from abject fear to healthy respect. I have a healthy respect for what that substance does for me. I'm confident I am allergic to sugar and flour. Now I know how gluten reacts for me. I know how sugar reacts for me, but ultra-processed garbage affects my body as if I were allergic. It may not be the simple allergy response like hives or runny nose or sneezing, but I am impacted greatly by that stuff. I can say with assurance I'm allergic to it. What freedom actually looks like. Patricia and I have always thought of this concept as nurturing the garden, tending the soil, putting the fertilizer that is our inner critic's voice, the tales that aren't true, the words that hurt us inside, into the garden where they can grow those beautiful vegetables that are nurturing our cells.
To get a seed to grow, you first need to have a healthy soil. And sometimes we don't have a healthy soil, so we have to work on making our soil more healthy, then adding a seed so it has the potential to grow. It's all part of the garden. Before you're going to get fresh food from it, it's to start with having a healthy understanding of the basis, a healthy soil. And if we're beating the hell out of ourselves all day long, that's not a healthy soil.
I'm 66 years old. I was waxing poetically on my 20s a few days ago and thinking about how I was and who I was in my 20s. I am not even close to the same person I was in my 20s. Maybe my inner presence and my inner sense is still there, but it was loaded with crap. I have been chipping away at the crap that the world and society and culture and my grandmother and my mother and my dad and all these people piled on me as an attempt to make me in the image they thought I needed to be in order to survive in this crazy world. And it has taken me all this time to chip away at those things and to start being able to expose more and more of my inner self. We are never going to be perfect, but positivity is taking up way more space in my head than it used to.
I like to redefine perfection as how I'm doing and handling things is Patricia being perfect today. Not doing things in just a certain kind of order. But nobody's Patricia like Patricia is today. I'm the only one. So it's redefining. A lot of words need to be redefined.
Yeah, that's one of our classes, words matter. Thinking about them. Your next small step. One tiny crack in the box to let the light in. A pinprick. A moment of, I see you for a struggle you've been avoiding. A simple hope practice for when things feel impossible. You could interject gratitude. Never looked at hope very much. Awe is another one that I haven't used very often that I'd love to incorporate more. I would love my day to be maximized with hope and gratitude and awe. Remembering progress isn't perfection, it's direction. When you start eating the way that you were supposed to nurture your cells, you feel better physically. You may not have even lost an ounce, but you feel better physically. And that's a telltale sign that you're in the right direction. And I want you to notice there are two sets of footprints here. You're not supposed to be walking this alone. By opening the box within even the tiniest bit, you discover that what you feared might overwhelm you actually begins to release its grip. Each one of us has a story that may feel overwhelming, that more than likely does feel overwhelming. Life smashes into us sometimes. But don't forget what remains, like in the original myth, is hope. Not the greeting card kind, but the quiet, persistent kind that whispers, even this can shift. Even you can heal. Even now, there's possibility. We can take a deep breath if you'd like.
Please do take a few deep breaths because we'd like to have another. I want you to get into your body again and another vegetable soup moment of please check your body and what a feeling that you're having in this moment. No wrong answers.
Maureen's asking a question. I'm not sure if that was one of my quotes.
It's the last line and the last thing you wrote. Oh, I don't know.
I'm going to be sending the slides out, Noreen, and we're also going to send out the recording.
Wendy feels calm.
Oh, I think you said chipping away at what your parents, grandparents wanted you trained you to be to survive in this world, something like that.
Yes. I've always felt like when I was born whole, I love that phrase so much. And then people piled things on me that they felt that I needed to have in order to survive in this world. My grandmother's fears about me being too smart. Sonia, boys don't want smart girls. My mother's insecurities about so many things. If there were so many social issues that get piled on, male or female, I don't care who you are. And when you think of it like, I like to think of it like Michelangelo's, the marble that before the David. That's how I was in my 20s and 30s and 40s and maybe even my 50s. I was that big stone marble and Michelangelo saw the David in there. I could see myself in there, but I needed to chip away at all of that in order to come up with this magnificence. And that is not boastful, not intended to be. But we need to be able to embrace the idea that we have come this far and we have walked through so many fire swamps. So we've got some words here. Calm, gratitude for this information and possibility, hopeful, peaceful, intrigued, thoughtful. I like having new ways of looking at the same words and phrases I've heard in the past in a different way. Feels hopeful and helpful and hopeful, thoughtful. Think about just taking this moment to reflect for a moment on what you've just heard or how you're feeling in this moment. Maybe there's too much noise out there and you can only think about that. Noreen, yes, that people piling on thinking you need to be more or less, me too, or different. Yes, absolutely. And I'm not saying that doesn't still happen to me. When I was going through the process of helping my dad transition and my mom transition, there was all sorts of new stuff that got piled on me or old stuff re-added that I had to work through. I got to work through. That's what life is. It's an opportunity.
Learning how to distinguish what people are feeling piling on me and what's coming from me.
Noreen says, or that I am trying to do that to my children, perhaps. Oh, I will often say, okay, that's another 4 sessions at the therapy, whatever I've just done. We're not supposed to be perfect parents either. As a matter of fact, I do believe that all the lessons we teach our children, good, bad, or indifferent, are intended for them to grow or not. That's up to them. And we do the best that we can with the information we have.
Cecily, that's a good point here, learning to figure out who I am with my mom gone. That is such a foundational thing. If I am not struggling with food, who would I be? So all I know is my struggle with food. And that's why it gets to a point that we'll get almost there, but not because we're afraid there's nothing there when we arrive there, and it's not true. It's just a conversation in our minds.
That's right.
Thank you for sharing that, Cecily.
Rosemary, I'll make sure that you have the recordings. They'll be sent out in an email today. And they're also, the first recording of the first meeting is on my YouTube channel, Transform with Sonia. But you'll get the links to all of this. It takes me a little bit to do the editing of this and putting it up where it needs to go, but you will get an email.
Yes, your voice counts too, Teresa. Except to ourselves. And that's what we're working on. We're working on looking at things coming within ourselves.
If you can't be real in this space, you can't be real anywhere. I'm just telling you, you need to give yourself the gift of belonging rather than fitting in. You need to feel like you belong. Every vegetable belongs here. Every vegetable belongs here.
So we're doing all this because we have a course for many weeks to really dive into this stuff. We'll be motivated for an hour of listening to something, but transformation takes time and practice. So these are just some of the things. These are actually the names of the actual classes that we're doing, starting the end of, we have one more free class to actually reel you in if you're interested and if this appeals to you and if this makes sense to you. If it doesn't, I hope you got something from just being here and attending this. And for moving in this journey in a safe community.
So the class starts on the May 31st, which is 2 weeks from today. Next week is a class, a masterclass, a free one. Please invite all of your friends. Share the email that I will be sending out later that will include this recording and last week's. Next week's is on post-traumatic growth, which was something that I opened up to even before I started my own business, even before the magic, where the magic happens, or any of the other work that Patricia and I do. That will be next week, and then the class will start, and we'll have every 6 weeks there will be 4 modules, so there will be spaces in between. It'll take 20 weeks to go through the course, and each one of these modules is designed to move you into that same spiral that you saw from the staircase. The idea is to start and keep moving and keep progressing and to keep growing and to keep hearing these things in different ways. There will be a lot of content, and it will be live workshops along with the opportunity to have 3 one-on-one sessions with either Patricia or I over that span of 20 weeks. You'll also get, in addition to the 4 lectures, you'll have 2 recovery coaching that'll happen in between on the weeks that we don't have class. In addition, you'll get the bonus of Where the Magic Happens community membership. it's interesting because we talk about this course in those sessions. There's 30-minute sessions 3 times a day, Monday through Friday. It sounds like a lot, but there are a lot of people that maybe only attend one, maybe only pick one session a week to attend. They're all recorded and they're all available. It's a beautiful space, and it offers us an opportunity to decompress and to ask more questions, but also to live in it and to use your neural pathway process to heal. So the course itself is $3.99, and it's over 12 weeks. There is a payment alternatives option at checkout. And if you've taken this Art of Recovery Expanding Your Journey course before, you get a discount. Please ask me for your coupon code. But I can't say enough about how much Patricia and I have seen growth and support and spirit and delight and shifting. You're not going to heal from your food dysfunction, but you will turn the noise way down over time. It's not going to be a quick fix. There's nothing that is going to change your neural pathways except noticing, resonance, trusted community and connection, and practice. Practica, 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 as Patricia says.
Practica.
I'd love to know if there are any questions. I'm going to put the link to sign up in the chat thread. Just 1 sec here. And please don't hesitate to ask questions if you have any. If you go to my homepage, transformwithsonia.com, and also Patricia's, awakeningwithpatricia.com, you'll see the course information there and sign up information. So you can either click on this link or you can go to my webpage or Patricia's. Any questions? Anybody have any questions? Any comments from anybody that has taken the course and is so excited to be back, or has something to say to encourage someone who might have a question?
Okay, I'll go again. As someone who has now taken care of her mother and helps a lot with her grandkids, because that's her joy, it's okay if you miss classes. You don't have to be there for every single one, and you're going to get the recordings, and it really is okay that you not be there. So if looking at that many weeks scares you, it's okay.
And it's on a Saturday morning, so we've on purpose not scheduled a class for Memorial Day weekend, for instance.
Yeah.
We've on purpose, I guess this or 4th of July weekend, I guess it is. Memorial Day is this next weekend. You might miss this class because of holiday functions, but the recordings are always going to be there for you. And that's why we've spread it out, so that you have time to listen to the recording, have time to digest it and talk about it.
Right.
Thank you, Donna. Yeah, Marcia.
Right. I want to add something. I have to add that I've been here for a very long time, since the magic happened. And I know with certain life cycle events, a community makes a difference. And the courses are the cherry on the top of the community. Because coming in new, I know, is challenging, but we are a charming, lovely bunch, not just Sonia and Patricia. There's lots of us who have a few treads on us. So I encourage you to obviously take the course. The Masterclass classes I know are free, but the course is something that'll be more than just Pandora. It'll be joining a village. And that's what you need in life.
Throw your
Thank you, ladies. You
fence.
mean so much to me. You know that, but it's okay if someone else knows that.
No, thank you so much, Marcia. Really helpful to hear that. Thank you. Mom Joe has a question. I'm assuming your name is Joe, but I don't know. Maybe it is Mom Joe. It's a cool name, by the way. Do we get a book or study or something? So there's a whole lot to this. First of all, there's an online source for all of your things. The first masterclass, if you signed up for the course, there are already 2 worksheets in there. One is fillable, one is something that you can process on a regular basis. And this one has 2 worksheets that come with it as well. There's an app also associated with this, that where you will have additional community connection. And of course, there's a Facebook group that sometimes can feel really helpful when you needed to get something out and you just needed to say it. Oh, it's Cindy. Hi, Cindy. Good to know. Absolutely. Absolutely. Yeah, I believe very strongly in the practice, as does Patricia. That's what changes the neural pathways. They don't just miraculously shift. Anybody that tells you they're going to fix your sugar addiction in 30 days thinks that might work for 30 days, but at some point it's going to unravel. It will. And I'm not being a doomsday or anything. You all understand this. There are underlying reasons we go to the food, and just being abstinent is not going to fix it. It'll help because it'll open up things, but that abstinence in itself opens up that whole loud noise of emotions that you've been numbing. It doesn't allow you to have anything. Yeah, go ahead, Cheryl.
I'd like to add that actually, if I was just hearing this for the first time, not being in the past 2 classes, it would just be a leap of faith. It would just be, but I see how with the last 2 classes, now I've already shifted a little bit. I understand when you're talking about what's happening with what noticing, and I mean, it's making so much sense, but I know that if I was just coming for the first time, I would think maybe, who knows, it would sound like words. I wouldn't really believe it. And it would be like a leap of faith, but I feel like it's more believable now because I've experienced some of it. And I feel like with this new class, it's even another opportunity to experience it and grow even further. I just felt like I might have been put off just really wanting to do it, but not really having the trust that, but that has come from already doing the work. And some of what we've done is incorporated in this already. So just wanted to add that in case anybody was feeling like it's not
Thank you,
for
Cheryl.
me. I don't really believe it because I think I would have been one of those people.
Sure. Oh, yeah. I'm sure nobody here is like resistant, or nobody here has a rebel.
Oh, I'm sure not. No.
So thank you for that contribution. That was helpful, really helpful.
Yeah, go ahead, Kel. Thank you, Cheryl.
That was perfect, Cheryl. I was just going to add too, it might sound discouraging that you can't fix it, but we can't fix it because life continues to come up and happen in new situations, and we just learn to continue to deal with it as it comes up. But some of the situations we've never been in before, so sometimes we just need a little help and a little coaching to get through the new situation. But the things that we pack in our suitcase and learn to unpack those tools and use do help. But yeah, it's like, I don't know if that made any sense, but.
And yes, and Patricia and I are not going to sell you a pie in the sky, no pun intended.
Right,
Those of us who, and I believe that releasing the idea that I haven't fixed it yet, so I must be bad, I must be wrong, I must be broken, is a part of the diet cycle that we've lived with. And that needs to be released.
It felt so good when I realized that, when I heard that from you guys, that I'm not failing at this because there is no end to it. I'm living my life, I'm growing, I'm changing. It's always going to be a new challenge. There isn't like a finish line on it. It's just life. And I'm learning how to live and go with the punches and get through each new step. Yeah, it just made a huge difference. I'm not going to get to the finish line and yay, I'm fixed and now I can, no, it's life. And
I'll never have any more
Right.
problems. Because the only problem I have is my weight, and I don't have that problem anymore, so I have no more problems.
when I get there, when I get it right, I can live my life. No, I'm going to live life now, and I'm going to stumble, and I'm going to have people in my little group to help me when I stumble. I'm going to go talk and release, and this is beautiful. Yeah. And I'm going to take this class, and I've taken all of them, and they're all different, and they're all rich and beautiful, and yeah.
Because you're different.
Yeah.
You're in a different place now than you were then.
Yes.
So it's a deepening, that spiral, that picture of the spiral. It's a spiral. It's not a straight line. It's a spiral that we go deeper because 6 months ago, you're a different Kelly 6 months from now.
Yeah.
And we hear things anew. Oh, I never thought of it that way before, even though we've been hearing rhetoric for a long time.
Even the words, the noise can be turned down, if not totally gone away. It's calming now. Or I used to feel like, oh my God, it would set me off further, but now I'm seeing, okay, this is just happening again. I'll get past it. So the same things are just, I hear it differently and it feels differently and it affects me differently. But I know there would have been a time like, that's not what I'm here for, but it feels, but now I see it's turned down and it's much less frequent. And when it comes up, I like knowing that this is part of the process. It happens and it's nothing to go out my mind's about and into more food. And like my failure and to bring in all these other kind of thoughts that are not really true.
They're the same, it's the same newsreel we've been listening to and paying attention to and believing for so long. Yes. The
And
idea,
that's only one example of the many things that you said today that I could attest to that are feeling calming, that I can accept, that I can live with, or that I am trying to live with as well. So it's a process, but I'm noticing that it's a process too, which I didn't understand what
Right.
that meant
If
either.
you want it done, tell me what to do and I'll do it. And it's an inside job. And that's so great to hear, Cheryl.
thank you. Thank you.
Okay.
If you have any questions, you've got email from me. You can also message Patricia on either Facebook or go to her website, Awakening with Patricia, or Awaken. I think it's Awaken with Patricia and .com. And this is an opportunity for you to do something for yourself. We so believe in this program and we have seen huge shifts, and people that have been in the conversation are still wanting to stay in the conversation. There's a reason. There's a reason. Thank you so much for being so present and staying here and paying attention to what's happening. So many of you are here right now that I just want to give a big hug to. Thank you.
Nice to see new faces. Nice to see old faces. All are welcome in this vegetable soup of our lives.
In the email that you'll get, there'll be a link at the bottom. If you have more questions and you need to ask some personal questions, you can message me. I'll put Patricia's link too as well to set up a time to talk to either of us. So have a wonderful day. Please find some hope today. Notice it and just sit with it. It's the start of something beautiful. Bye-bye.
Bye. Thank you.